for me is underrated. I think he's really good. But let's see when LEC starts if he's gonna show it up.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Over/Underrated. Today I'm here with Stravitz and we are rating the new preseason batch. I'd probably say Senna is underrated, but at the same time everyone thinks she's broken already, so I'm not sure if that's the right way to put it, but I think she's broken as well, so underrated must be the one.
I don't know. It's hard to say underrated or overrated because I think the public, what they think, that she's like really strong is accurate. I think she's like really obnoxious to play against and at times really unskilled because she hits you like when you can't hit her and stuff, but she dies really quickly. But I guess underrated because I think she's broken. I think underrated. I think having a break after like a lot of games is important, so you actually have this feeling in yourself that you want to win. Because if you play like in a lot of games, you kind of like forget at one point, and I mean you don't forget, but you stop like feeling as excited and stuff. But having like off season and breaks usually empower that feeling and helps you to just be more refreshed and relaxed, not burned out. So, yeah, underrated.
I think underrated in the sense that breaks are good, but overrated in the sense that League of Legends schedule sucks for pro players. Because I think we work for way too long at once, and then the break is way too long as well. I would rather have shorter seasons with more breaks, but shorter breaks.
Oh, the
Fight Club. I call it smoke rooms.
The smoke rooms in League of Legends.
Because you know in airports they have like specific smoke rooms. I see the alcoves the same way. Some people really need them and really like them, but everyone else kind of just pretends they don't exist. I would say. I think that's a good description of it.
Yeah, it's a very good one. I think overrated since my brain still don't like accept that there's like something that that is more on the Summoner's Rift than before. I just forget about it, but yeah, it's for sure like underrated as well because it empowers some champions that can go and fight there. So it's more like a challenging area because if somebody goes there, it's kind of like, come get me, you know. It's really, it's an interesting adjustment to the Summoner's Rift. I'm not sure, I haven't used it much, but I think I would say overrated.
I think the alcoves are good because I didn't like how top lane and bot lane had different brush sizes. I thought that was bad. So I think it's better that they're identical now, just mirrored. And I think it empowers some champions. Like for example, Bard before could only play on top side of the lane, but I think now he can play on bot side as well because he can tunnel from the alcove to his own tower. Or the other way around, you could tunnel gank from that side as well with your jungler. Basically from your own tower into the alcove. So I think there are plays that you can make now that you couldn't before on specific champions, but for the most part, most people don't think about it, I think. So it's kind of like the old laning phase, but 3 brushes instead of 2. But maybe eventually like the alcove comes into play. And I think there are probably some specific moments where you can use the vision to your advantage. I think you can kind of enter from the alcove into the brush closest to the enemy tower without being spotted if you do it at the right timing, which people don't do. So I think there are definitely like strengths that people haven't figured out yet. I would say underrated if it's snowy, but if there's no snow, then I don't really like Christmas as much. In Sweden at least, when I was younger, there were always snow on the 24th. So I was really hyped about Christmas, and Christmas includes Christmas presents, so I was hyped. But basically what happened during the last couple of years is that there's no snow at all during the 24th. It's just like any other autumn day where it's kind of rainy, kind of cold, but not really winter, you know. And I think that doesn't really set you into the mood, and then Christmas present loses their hype a little bit.
I mean, it's weird actually. I love the idea of presents and stuff, but personally I don't really like making presents. It's nice to give somebody a present and make him happy, but I just don't feel like I want to go to the shop and like look for the right item and give it. But the idea is really nice, so I would say underrated. But as a person, I don't really like it too much. But it's nice to receive presents. think it's underrated. I watched a bit Rekkles playing it, and unless I play it, I will never understand what he fully does. And I haven't played him yet, but I watched him. He played a lot of games with him, and it didn't look balanced at all. So underrated must be it.
Yeah, it's underrated. It's just the right classic to make new champs and have them be like 3 times as strong as any other champion in the game, and then nerf them to the ground in a couple of patches. I think he's really fun to play. There are so many elements to your champion. Usually champions are really strong at one thing, but that's it. They don't offer anything else. They just have to do the same thing over and over to succeed. But with Aphelios you can make different weapon combos. Like there's so many different ways to play the champion, but it's the same champion. So I think it's just a really fun champion to play because of this, because every game will be different. I think it's good to have a brush there, because I think it was too easy before to put a ward in one spot that would cover everything. Meanwhile now we kind of have to be careful of that brush when Dragon and Baron are in play, specifically. So I think it allows teams to look to maybe enter from that side, rather than always going through mid. Because at some point it was kind of boring that you had to go through mid, or otherwise you wouldn't be able to enter. Because the enemy would see you coming, but you would never know where they were. So I think it maybe helps a little bit in that regard, but for the most part I haven't really seen people use it. Maybe a bit level 1, but yeah, other than that, not much.
I love it. I like that bush because it's not that easy to get doved bot lane. If you're like, let's say, red side, and you don't have like mid prior, you can always like go and ward there with a pink ward. An enemy usually don't go like too close to the wall because you can be in the bush behind it and like damage them. So it's like, it's a good defense that you can build when you're behind. And yeah, it just takes more effort for enemy team to go and like check that bush. So it's, I think, more competitive. I actually haven't played her much, but I played Toes against her. I think it can be strong. I'm not a fan of it because I feel like there's a lot of counterplay, but for sure it seems fun. But I would say overrated because I don't think it will last too long.
I would say overrated probably. I think kind of the same issue as Senna support. You run 280 carries in the bot lane and then it kind of becomes too fragile, where enemy jungle or even 2v2 maybe you just have too much chance of failure. Basically getting one-shot by all the OB champions in the game. So I think it's just too dangerous to play, and it's better if you just play these champions on AD carry and have something to protect them. Or if you were to play them support, you have an AD carry that protects them. So that would be like maybe a mage or something else. I don't know. I just think it's better to play them on AD carry, basically. I've only played once. I tried it on Jay's AD carry because I didn't know what rune to take. I realized afterwards I should have taken Conqueror, but I wanted to try this new rune now that they have made this smart choice, or whatever they call it, where the rune basically chooses what's best in every moment, but I didn't really feel like I got any value at all. It's too much RNG for it to be good, I would say, competitive, or for people to be willing to take it.
So underrated, overrated?
I would say probably overrated. I don't think people will use it.
I don't think this keystone is like kleptomized that you can pick it on any champion and it'd be fine, because I think just some champions accelerate with certain keystone, and if they don't have it they feel like kind of weaker. But I think, for example, Bart can use that keystone and it's the best keystone for him, so I think they're like just champions that are not discovered yet that can use that keystone and it fits them. It's underrated in the sense that I think they're just champions that are not discovered yet that they can use that keystone, for example, but it can get a lot of value because you can like cycle so many keystones for like 10-second cooldown, you know? So you can get Predator, you can get like Aftershock, you can get Hero Blades, Electrocute in 1 minute cooldown, when, for example, if you run Guardian, it's like 70-second cooldown. I think he's the best player in the world, as he showed, and yeah, I mean, people didn't give him much credit, but I always believed in him, and for me he's underrated. I think he's really good, but let's see when LEC starts if he's gonna show it up.
I think Gabriel has his moments of brilliance, which no other player has. Like, he's a very special player, I would say. And he showed it at All-Stars as well in his one-on-one tournament. I think he played really well. So I would say he's probably underrated. Yeah.
Thanks for watching Over and Underrated with Rekkles and I, and make sure to subscribe.
And click the bell.